Welcome to the Inner Circle podcast. Shane and I are so excited to have Thomas Jeffrey and Carolyn Seaman join us today all the way from Nigeria. We are going to dive into love, gratitude, the ripple effect of what you can create as an entrepreneur with education, overcoming obstacles, and so much more. So here we go. So I think there are a lot of creative ways to do this, but I do agree that it's more challenging than ever nowadays.
True.
And I think along with that is self-care and kind of how to prevent burnout. Because whether you're working 7 days a week or 6 days a week, trying to get your film career up and going and you know, like you've said many times, you have to put in the time, you have to, how have you both dealt with the stress and the demands of your own, because you're creating so much greatness with, you know, this WIFFEN, right? It is WIFFEN, the Women International Film Festival. Nigeria. I want to make sure I get that title right. The International Film Festival. You have your own company. You have people that are relying on you for education. It's a lot that you're juggling. And so how have you dealt with stress? How do you deal with, you know, kind of all of it? I mean, it's a lot on your back.
Frankly, I didn't start out well.
Thank you for being honest.
Self-care was one of the least things I caught on a lot later. I really suffered a lot of burnouts. I was constantly overwhelmed because it was so many things. Building this nonprofit, starting all of these crazy initiatives, being supportive with the production company. Like, it was so many things all at once. I recall being hospitalized twice for stress. Those were my really big wake-up calls. The second time I was hospitalized and told it was just fatigue, I was like, okay, hold up a minute. Something's not right here. Like, this is just way too early to be suffering this. And I really had to be more conscious to really search out how to prioritize self-care. I was fortunate to enroll in an empowerment program and a self-development program that really helped me to be a bit more conscious about my mental health states, being conscious about wellness. Like you, I had to really now be conscious about meditation, taking that time out. I had to learn to listen to my body. That was the really big one, because for me to get to the point of being hospitalized, it means I don't even get any warning signs. I'm literally going until my body is no longer going.
That is so scary. And we push ourselves, I think, because you want everything to succeed so much that you just push and push and push until you collapse.
I mean, we've invested so much into this platform, our website, the content and all that stuff, and you just want it to succeed, and you tend to push and push and push and overextend yourself and say yes to things that
you shouldn't
have said yes to.
Those I had to learn.
So how did you learn this? Because this is so fascinating, and I think it's the same for every filmmaker out there, because you say yes to a project and then you say to yourself, oh man, why did I say yes to that? So how do you figure out that barometer for you?
For me, I've learned to ask sort of pertinent questions that are applicable to me. So for example, how critical is this to my leadership growth journey? Like, in terms of my realistic state, the things I've committed to now, how practical is it to add this onto it? So for me, those are like the immediate questions. Before, I would not even censor any email. I'll be there. And then I'll try to fit everything and hop from one event to another, from one commitment to another. But now I've learned to say, let me look through my schedule and get back to, I used to think saying that was, pretending to be some celebrity. So I used to be like, who am I to be looking at some schedule like, I'll surely do that. Yeah. But I'm learning to say, no, this is for my own self-care. This is for my own. Right. Like, I literally need to be practical about what I can do and the timeline within it. So I'm usually asking, what's the deadline for this? Like, how much window do I have? How flexible are you with this? So I'm not taking on board more than I can practically do. Another thing that helped me with learning to be a bit more practical with my self-care is I'm learning that it's ambitious to work and be looking towards a vacation period where you rest as much as you need. Yeah. Because I found that is not as practical as we always dream it to be. Yeah. If you get that vacation, good and fine, it's added time, but I'm learning to rest in between my work that I didn't know how to do before. Like, it's like I'm cheating myself when I'm resting. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's the other way around. So I'm learning to, I have deadlines, but hey, my head is like literally fried. Can I just take this time for me? Yeah. If I meet the deadline, fine. If I don't, we'll find a way. But I have to just take some time out. And I'm learning to do like longer weekends. I can decide, this Thursday, I'll take this off and just rest. So I'm learning to add those rest times in between work as opposed to how I used to. Yeah. Just go.
I love that.
Yeah, that's Bravo. One of the Thank you.
But it's the same thing for me as well. Burnouts have been a part of my life. There were times that both of us this time, we come back from a training and we drop our bags, the equipment is there, and we sit on a chair. And then it's 6 a.m.
Yep.
Wow.
That's with the same clothes.
You're falling asleep, sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Sitting up.
Yeah, the same clothes. And guess what? We have training by 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. We're at it again.
So it was very bad, very, very bad. And this, I'm telling you, just maybe 1 year ago, but I started valuing myself more. How did I start valuing myself? I told myself, hey, you spent over 2 decades doing this. I mean, you're up there, whether you like it or not. So why don't you value yourself so much that, you look at this project, if it's not going to help your professional career, let it go.
Exactly.
Just let it go. If you're not going to work with somebody maybe that you've been looking forward to working with, let it go. Mm-hmm. So just before coming here, there was a project, they wanted to do it. It was, huge and what have you. And I had already told them, okay, hey, you know what? I'll start the project. Listen to this. I'll start the project. When I come back, I'll complete it. And a few weeks before we started, I told them, hey, I'm not going to do this. I've decided to just come because I have not rested for over 5 years. Yeah. And guess what? It was her podcast that, it woke me up. It woke me up because I was like, this is true. This is without this, all of these things will not be possible. Yeah. So I need to rest. I need to look at myself and value myself. I know the kind of work I've done. And so I decide to say, hey, I'm not taking this on. I'm not taking this on. I'm just going to rest for today. Kick my feet up and just rest. It is allowed. Yeah.
Without feeling guilty.
Yeah. Without feeling guilty. But most times we feel very, very guilty when we do that. You just start thinking, come on, are you sure you're working hard enough? All of that. Do you have that luxury?
Counting the cost.
Exactly. Our nonprofit has reached over 800,000 girls in Nigeria.
Wow.
And she still feels we've not done anything. I still feel what the heck? We've not done anything, So, but I told her, I said, we have to stop at this point, learn to appreciate ourselves. And that's what we're doing now.
I love that so much. And I think fear plays a big role in this, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, especially in this time period now with everybody on strike, like I just love to tackle fear because the mindset of the film industry is, oh my God, don't turn it down.
Yeah.
You don't know when the next job is going to come.
True.
You have to take it. And so people are just endlessly taking things
too much.
because they're so terrified of, you know, and I see the results of the physical manifestations of stress every day.
Yeah.
From the clients that I work on with Reiki to just friends telling me stories. But I think it's our health that we really take for granted. And we make decisions out of fear.
Yeah.
And I think that that is the worst decision-making place, I would argue, that you could ever possibly make a decision.
I mean,
from.
I think for all that we saw and all the death and that happened from the pandemic, you know, the families that were lost loved ones, all that kind of stuff. But it was a shock through the entertainment industry to say, you know what? We're working too hard.
Yeah.
We're putting in a lot, way too many hours. And the white papers that came out that gave you the you know, you got to be held to a 10-hour day because people got to get the rest so their immune system doesn't go down. Well, that's just great practice. You know what? Up until the pandemic, I had done all these movies, and not once did I ever get off a film and then be able to go out and see a movie or be able to go and have a nice dinner or be able to do anything that was not filmmaking. But once the pandemic happened, I was held to a 10-hour day. Well, if we started at 6, well, you know, I'm out at 4 or 5 o'clock. You know, and I'm able to go and I can enjoy a movie or a nice meal and I can take some self-care for myself or go get a massage or actually work out. I don't have to get up at 4 in the morning. I can actually go to work, get done, and then work out. You know, it's like
just learning.
Right? It just wasn't an option. You were working 16-hour days and then you just had to go home, shove something down your throat and go to bed.
Exactly.
Right? And that has to change. And you know, because I think that the new filmmakers of tomorrow are helping that change as well. Because
I think so too.
We were thrown into it in the time period that this is what you did. And now this is like a record scratch. All right, let's look at this. Let's see what, you know, and there's a lot of great benefits that have come out of this. And I hope that we can hold on to those, you know, not 12, 14, 16-hour days, that we can start to just, and it all comes with good preparation too. If you prepare yourself in prep and do the work, you can make the schedule, you can make the days, and you can do it in 10 hours. And it should be budgeted for that too, because you're going to get a much happier crew every day to work. They've actually been able to go home and maybe see a piano recital or enjoy a soccer game or a basketball game that their kids were playing at and engage with the family. That gives them that positive nature that you want every day. You want that smile, you know, instead of Jesus Christ.
I'm here.
I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm here, but you know, I'm going to try my best, you know.
And think about how that mentality, because I used to do 16-hour days as a nurse. Think about how that mentality is and how exhausted the brain is from just the mental stress. And we all know this, of when you can't stop thinking, and you go to sleep, and then you're not having a good rest. You're not actually sleeping. You're just laying in your bed.
I'm still
because
thinking.
you're thinking, you're going through the shot list. You're saying, oh, I wish I could have had this or that shot. Why didn't I get that? Or why didn't I light it this way? Or why didn't I? And that you literally cannot shut off your mind because you're just being thrust into the next day and the next day and the next day. And the body has no time to decompress and to unwind and to unwind its nervous system. And that's the biggest thing, is that then creates real mental health problems and physical health problems. And that's how we get into the crises that we see with people and the epidemic that we're seeing of suicide and everything right now, because people get themselves to a point where they just cannot calm down. And we
just went on family vacation. We took 4 days. And it used to take me 4 days to actually relax. Now I'm able to relax the first day. And that's all the mindset and the change, right? When you're on the grind and you're just going, and you got so many irons in the fire and you got to do this, got to do that. It takes you so long to finally come down. And by the time you finally come down, the vacation's over. And you're like, what the hell?
What happened?
So this is the thing of, and then you always get the thing, oh, we need a longer vacation. No, you just need to start practicing how to not burn yourself out to the point where the vacation can't even take the edge off.
Exactly.
And that's what you were kind of saying, where you needed to build in these rest times. And we'll do like spa weekends at our house where we just won't plan anything and we'll hang out. We'll wake up in bed and stay up there till noon and then come down. And it's like those
take a bath forever.
Those little things change. It's like the self-care that refreshes the mind, lets that creativity still, bubble up and for you to be able to, move forward to the next day. Yeah. Be your best.
Be your best. And I think the other thing is, the more you can stay out of fear, and you do that, right? Fear comes from anxiety in the mind being overcranked or overthinking and going down rabbit holes and habit loops of getting stuck. Right?
Yeah.
And I've been reading a lot about this recently, tied to depression. Depression is habit loops in the brain just getting stuck over and over and over again. So I think staying away from fear and staying out of fear and not buying into it is one of the greatest self-care things that filmmakers can do for themselves. And it's getting that anti-fear practice. And I think part of that is staying busy during a strike, practicing your skills, figuring out what else you're interested in. And, can you earn money at that? Like all of these things, what other skills do you have? Maybe you get a little side gig going. But instead of sitting there the whole time and thinking, when is it going to be over? When is it going to be over? Oh my gosh, how many days has it been? Think about how it's so different, because it takes the mind out of creativity, right? And this fear is so, whenever people are like, I think it's going to go to the end of the year. I think it's going to be a whole year. I think it's going to, I'm just like, la, 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 la.
You don't want to hear anything.
Right? But because I know it's not good for my brain, because it takes it out of its best creative
mode. And I always
mode.
Lydia, I go, you have to be based in reality. You can't just sugarcoat this shit and just say it's going to go away. Just because you don't want to hear it.
But it's not that. I listen and I pay attention. But whether you bask and bathe in it.
Exactly. That's a completely other thing.
It's on the periphery.
I got a text from a director friend of mine. He's like, I go, I'm getting excited about going to London and finishing the project that got shut down. And, I hope to be there in September. And he's like, you're not going to be there in September. The actors aren't going to settle till next year. And I'm like, I tell Lydia that, and she's like, why are we always this negative?
Right?
You know, it's like we got to have some kind of positive nature to this thing.
Because you just it might just go differently.
It may go differently.
Exactly.
And I think the more it's like reading tea leaves, right? So I think I am just focused on the fact of what's happening, very aware, but also how can I stay in my best creative zone during this time period? Because that is the best thing for me to be the best version of myself. So I think that it's really, because then you can create something else that then drives more revenue inbound, that then is a whole other thing that you never could have seen had you stayed in the fear and rumination.
Yeah. And then to add to that, I think the people that speak into your life, the people you keep around you, also matter, because you can imagine you can imagine if Shane was as that negative as the other guy that sent him the text, you know, and he keeps on telling you, this thing until next year, you know, maybe March 2024, you know that kind of a thing. That's whether you do la 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 1 million times, you know, you gotta hear it. Whether you like it or not, you know. Sure, so if that's your husband because he's always around you, that's what you hear constantly.
Yes.
So we need to start sieving the people that speak into our lives, into our ears, because I mean, that's what has helped us a great deal.
Thanks for tuning in. Now make sure you check out the full episode on the Filmmakers Academy platform and join the community today and get $20 off your first month by using the promo code FAPOD20. That's FAPOD20. We are the #1 resource for cinematographers, film crews, and do-it-all filmmakers. I'm going to see you inside.